We're doing road evading, still very dusty. Road evading, taking out any weeds, and that's the Turbo Jet Jackal, it's called. Fan at the back there, and then rotors, cartridges in those where that black area is there. That is spinning around, and then it's blowing it out the bottom. You can see there. The seeds then being flicked out and being rolled in with a Cambridge roller. That's another load, they're just about finished. So it's quite nice getting sheds cleaned out, getting the muck spread so we don't have too many heaps left over the winter time. Yeah, and the ground conditions are so good at the moment that it shouldn't make a mess spreading. But it's now ready. We looked at this a few weeks ago. And we're hoping to get in harvesting end of the week. Also, branchage time. So branchage in Jersey is basically the hedges, well, cutting the hedges. Jersey French term. It's an old language that used to be used in Jersey, and it basically involves the cutting back of our roadside hedges. So, hello, welcome back to the channel. Again, apologies for the bit of a delay in videos. Promise soon I will get better. It's just been, there's lots of things going on, and yeah, it basically takes up time if I haven't got around getting the video sorted. But I think we are now. Sunflowers are all finished, that's all out the way. We've got our red tractor audit and leaf audit Wednesday this week, so good to get all that out of the way. A few little things else happening, scarily enough, quickly around. Pumpkins will be here. We're starting, hopefully going to be starting the 12th, 11th or 12th weekend. Haven't decided exactly which date yet, but we'll start getting ready for that. See behind me, we're just in with the cows. They're grazing away. It is still, grass growth is still poor. You can see there's not much, but they're all getting fed at night. We've got another group, the kind of the fresher group, who are getting fed more. They've actually now come inside this week for the whole time. We've had a little bit of rain, but this grass here needs so much more than just like 10 mil to get it going. This needs a lot of rain. It's just dried up. We're light land here, and yeah, so fortunately we've got lots of forage to feed them. These girls, they'll stay out. You've got some grass we've had after potatoes, which they're now grazing as well. Again, they're being fed at night, and they've got enough to keep them happy. Ideally we'd have more grass, but just the weather. We've had a bit of rain, 8 mil in the west of the island this week, but so windy today. It's like 4.5, 4.6, 21 degrees. It's just drying out as quick as it's falling. But still, it's not too bad. And so we've got some after potato grass, which that will respond better to the showers. This lay's been in now for 3 years, so that takes, you know, it's a bit, the grass is a bit more old, a bit more tired, and cows are loving having a lick on my arm. And yeah, that always needs a lot more rain to get it going. We are due some more showers, so it might get going, but beauty is we always have the cows in 2 groups. We can keep these grazing right through until, I don't know, November, December if we want to, if the weather conditions allow. And then the other group, the ones that are now inside, if we did have if we do get a bit more rain this week, then suddenly we get the grazing rotation cutting back down to kind of 3 weeks, then we can get the other group out as well, because we're now grazing nearly 190 verges is our area we've got fenced in for the grazing cows at the moment, for the milkers. But some of it, nearly 100 verges of it, we haven't been on for 4 weeks, 5 weeks. It's just literally gone to nothing, like it looks like a desert. But that's just the joys of farming now. It seems to be a bit more extremes, but anyway, they're all still happy as Larry, and we will, yeah, show you what we're getting up to. Enjoy the video. So we're busy reseeding. It's dust, it still is dust. We've had 12 mil of rain this week. So I haven't done many videos, but we've finally got a bit of moisture. We've been waiting a while to reseed. Will, in the 145, we've just got we've got a stocks box fitted. And yeah, it's looking really good. We've got it behind, it's on the Cambridge roller. With the Cambridge roller, that can either go behind the rotavator or the power harrow. And yeah, it seems to be, well, we don't know yet, but we had a simple gravity fed box. That was really good, but we just, for doing a bit more variation of seed and cover crops, we wanted to have a fan assisted one. So we've got that, and yeah, just set it up, and now we've got rain due. We had 12 mil yesterday in certain points of the island, only 3 mil in other bits. So we're kind of gambling, we got to go now because it's getting September soon. We don't want to waste any more time. That's basically what we're doing. Rotavating, still very dusty. Rotavating, taking out any weeds, and that's the Turbo Jet Jackal, it's called. Fan at the back there, and then rotors, cartridges in those where that black area is there. That is spinning around, and then it's blowing it out the bottom. You can see there. The seeds then being flicked out and being rolled in with a Cambridge roller. Hopefully, it will. It'll come up beautiful. Much more even than we've always broadcast it on. Does work quite well, the broadcast, but it means you got to pass, rotovate and roll it, then broadcast, then put rotor on, mix it in again. Whereas now it's gonna be one pass. This land had potatoes, organic potatoes, harvested them a long time ago, but because it's been so dry, we've held off with the reseeding. So it's been passed a couple of times, a few little weeds. So that's what's nice. The rotavator takes out the little weeds, and then nice clean seed bed before the seed's going in. If I stand the other side, we'll see it again. We're sowing a mix from Agri, it's their multi-cut of red clover. But what I like about it, we should get a much better emergence because literally the seed is right on the surface. It's not very deep. You can see there, it's literally there, and it's all just, it's right at the top. It's not very deep, and especially with the clover, you don't want the clover seed very deep, otherwise it won't come up that well. So hopefully this is going to be a much better way of establishing all of our grass lays, and it's saving nearly 2 passes, so win-win. We've just got to hope it rains, because you can see it's still force 5, force 6 today. It's blowing, very dusty, but surely now it's unlikely to stay dry all the way through September. But yeah, good to be cracking on with that. And these are all going to be our silage lays for next year. So they've got about 60 acres of this mix to do. This is a new mix we've trialled this year. I think it comes from Kite or Advanced Sourcing. It's a multi-cut 6 mix, I think. So we're going to see what that's like. But yeah, good to be cracking on with that and getting the grass in. So it's also Branchage time. So Branchage in Jersey is basically the hedges, well, cutting the hedges. Jersey French term. It's an old language that used to be used in Jersey, and it basically involves the cutting back of our roadside hedges. It's done twice a year. So the first ones were done in end of June, July, and then now we're cutting again. This is the September one, so we get the roads actually get inspected and then actually check them and make sure there's nothing overhanging here or nothing dropping down from below. And it's our duty to cut them back and then make sure all the sweepings you can see there are all brushed back. I say it's law, and then the hedges are cut to ensure road safety, basically, because our roads are so small. It's quite a good example where we are here. But when the hedges grow, they can grow over here and they can grow over there, and you get left with not much road. So that's why we do it. We now cut differently. We only cut on the first time in June, we just cut the side and a little bit at the top, and then now we go along and we cut the whole hedge, and that's just trying to leave the wildlife more chance for breeding and things. Yeah, so we go along now and we're cutting the whole lot. Hasn't grown back too much this time because it's been so dry, but we're just cutting back the top little bit here. We're here right above, that is the sea on the northeast coast of the island. Right above Flickay, that's St Catherine's breakwater over there. So we're just finishing up here now. I say the guys will then come and sweep up the road later on. So you can see here, this hedge is barely grown back. We cut this back in June. because it's been so dry, it hasn't really moved much at all. We're just doing one more pass on the top just to tidy it up, and then we're all good. Yeah, that's what we do this time of year. It's another job we're doing, going around getting all the Branchage done. That's this field finished up, or this block of fields, so we'll turn it off and head on to the next one. So Will and Fernando also been busy getting the dry count shed marked out. All of this muck is going to be spread. All this muck's going to be spread. It's nice stuff before we drill winter wheat or barley. It's in here. All that stuff, all fried and fresh. I say we're tipping it in where we've just harvested royals. I say it's all going to be spread next week. We got some hot mustard gone in. Give you a picture of that. Yeah, these have all been mucked out this morning. We used the big wood chip, byproduct from a local guy, Farm Fuels. It's basically all the waste of the pallets. He chops it up. That provides the base. Really helps absorbing any water. And then we put our straw on top. So it helps reduce our straw usage. But yeah, that's done my load. They're just about finished. So it's quite nice getting sheds cleaned out, getting the muck spread so we don't have too many heaps left over the winter time. Yeah, and the ground conditions are so good at the moment that it shouldn't make a mess spreading. So hopefully that's about 4 or 5 loads today, along with what was already there. So that'll all be spread next week, and then we're just going to do a stale seed bed in 2 of the fields because we didn't put a cover crop in. The others got about 40 verges, 20 acres of hot mustard, which has taken ages to come up. I'm going to get a video of that after. Taken a very long time to come up, but it's finally emerging. So I'm not even sure if that's going to actually flower properly before we have to chop it all in. We want to be drilling first, second week of October ideally. Weather depending. If the weather's good, we'll go. If it's bad, we'll wait, but we don't want to go too late. Otherwise there's a chance you don't get it in. So yeah, hopefully first, second week of October we'll be getting the winter wheat and barley drilled. So we're also just here as well. I'll just show you. This had seed potatoes in. So seed Jersey Royals, which you can see the remnants of here. This has been sown down to a cover crop of Caliente hot mustard, which is this stuff here. This is hot mustard. It's a type of brassica which is used to control potato cyst nematodes or nematodes. And what happens is this mustard basically grows up, hopefully to around about 4 foot tall, and then it will produce a nice yellow flower. Just as it's going into flower, we can then mulch it, and then when you mulch it, it gives off gases. Then you can incorporate it into the soil, seal the top, and the gases give off and kill the little nematodes which feed in our potatoes. So I can explain more in a minute in a different field. But what I wanted to highlight here is the difference in when you sow a crop and the moisture available to it when you seed it. This is the thing that makes it challenging with a cover crop in a dry summer. This was drilled on the 7th of August and it's just taken ages. We've only just had rain, pretty much no rain. We've now had only about 7 mil here, and this is not middle of the island. But we've got another field we'll get to in a minute. That was drilled on the 28th July. That had a bit of rain straight after because the potatoes are harvested quicker, and that is, you'll see in a minute, stark contrast to this. And it's very uneven emergence, pretty poor to be honest, and it's nearly going to be a waste of time this field. This has got to be going into winter cereals, so by 2nd week of October this needs to be all starting to be incorporated and chopped up. It might grow if we get a bit more rain. I'm hoping now the gaps, this here's pretty much nothing emerged there yet. They might start still filling in, but we'll see. That's a problem. Cover crops are great, but sometimes in a dry summer they don't always work. But we'll just shoot down the road and I'll show you the next fields of how different they look. So this was done on the 28th of July. This had a bit of rain straight afterwards, and yeah, it's a much nicer, thicker carpet, fairly decent emergence. A few little areas here which are coming through. There is still plants emerging. I think there'll be more in the gaps there, but it's looking a lot better. These plants now should grow to around about 3-4 foot, and then they will come into flower, and then just as they get to kind of full flower, or just before fully flowering stage, we'll come through, mulch it all in. The plant will then give off like gases. Those gases, if they're incorporated quickly, so we make sure that the flail mower and the rotavator are really tight, following each other. So then the rotavator will mix all the ground in, mix all this plant matter into the soil, so it'll actually get all chopped up here, put back into the soil, and that gives off the gases, which then those gases then kill the nematodes. And the nematode is what we're trying to kill. It's a potato cyst nematode, and that is what affects our potatoes. So certain fields like these, they had seed potatoes in that they were growing for longer, so there's more likelihood that the potato cyst nematode builds up because of its life cycle, of the nematode's life cycle. The longer your potatoes are in the ground, the longer they can the adults are there. So they're there at the start of the season when we're planting. Once the potatoes start forming roots, then the adults realise there's something for the young to feed on. They reproduce, produce some little new nematodes, and then those nematodes then can feed on the potato roots. And if they can feed on them, then they can then reproduce and multiply themselves. So it's kind of a vicious cycle. We get away with it on our early crops. People always ask us, how do we grow potatoes year on year? Now that is, we think, well, we know it is because our early crops are only in the ground for around about 11-12 weeks, and it nearly acts as a trap crop. So what happens is the potato cyst nematodes, the adults will reproduce, and then once they produce their little young nematodes, we then harvest the potatoes before the little youngsters can actually get and reproduce and actually live. So all the little baby nematodes are there, but they can't actually feed on anything because we've harvested the potatoes and taken the crop away. And these nematodes, they are tiny, tiny, tiny little, you can barely see them really. If you look at the potato roots of a really badly affected plant, you could see them, but like in the soil, you'll struggle to see them. It's one of the major potato pests you get. And the best way of controlling it is through crop rotation. So that's what we do. All of our seed crop, so all of our seed area, 130 verges, that'll be going into either grass lays or different crops for our cows. And then we'll have another kind of 200-300 verges as well that'll all be rotated next year. It's just really the early potatoes that stay in the same fields. But yeah, fingers crossed, hopefully this will work. We've got the hot mustard going in all the fields that are due to go into a cereal. So either the winter wheat or the winter barley, they've all got hot mustard in now, and they'll go into a cereal because we want to fill that gap. I'll try and get down the hedge without getting run over. Obviously we harvest our potatoes July time. We don't want to be drilling our wheat or barley until late September, early October. So we thought it's quite a good cover crop to go in there, and fingers crossed it'll work. So yeah, hopefully that works well. Just also coming back to the maize, forage maize. This is the Pioneer drilled on the 4th of May. Sorry, it's not the most best filming, but it's now ready. We looked at this a few weeks ago, and we're hoping to get in harvesting end of the week. We've got our red tractor audit on Wednesday. Excuse the leaves. And yeah, then hopefully Thursday we'll get cracking. We're going to fill up the third cut clamp, fill up with maize because we didn't get as much grass in there, so we thought we'd top the maize up, but all of the cobs now are ready to go. And they're dying off. It's nearly at the perfect dry matter, I reckon. Yeah, they're looking good. If we snap that in half, you can see there now it's looking really good. There's not really going to be any, hard to see in the sun, but barely any moisture left now. We're at the dough stage. Yeah, pleased with that cob. They're not too bad. they're pretty much all filled to the top. You see there, only a tiny bit. So this is a Pioneer 7179. Yeah, pretty happy with that. Good crop, bottom leaves are dying off, and that's how you know it's going to be pretty much perfect dry matter. Nice stuff. Still a bit of green. Yeah, it's ready to cut. So, and what's nice is we've still got maize left from 2024, so it's good for the cows. They love it. Continuous diet, keep it going. Going to cut about 50 verges, 50 or 60 verges. Show you actually when we get back to the farm. Go shoot back there now. Show you where the first lot's going to go. Then we're going to go and fill up the clamp that we rent from a contractor. Then we'll come back to our farm at the end. But please, hopefully as well, ground conditions are still really good. So fingers crossed, don't get too much. Well, we want rain, we don't want rain. So only a couple of showers would be nice. Then we can crack on and get the maize off in nice conditions. So yeah, just back at the farm. This is where we're going to put the first lot of maize. Roughly, you get about 100 verges in here of maize, decent crop, when this is completely empty. So it's less than half full of grass. This was third cut we put in here. We didn't even cut all of our area third cut because it was so poor. But yeah, that's where, fill this up with the maize first. Then we've got the clamp we're feeding out at the moment. That's first cut, but that's only, it's literally halfway now. So we're gonna fill that up with maize. 50 or 60 verges will go in there. Then we're gonna go to the contractor's yard, fill that up, his up with maize once it's finished, because we're bringing in maize. This is this maize here. This is coming in at the moment from his clamp, because we haven't got enough room at the farm to put all of the store all of our forage here. So get that filled up, then we'll come back here in about kind of second week of October, and then we'll put all of the rest of our maize and block off the grass, and then we can go on to bales, because we did all a second cut was in bales. So we're gonna then be blocking up the first cut clamp, so the maize will be all in there, and then we'll be feeding maize from here until, once we get back to the grass in there, then we'll go back to clamp silage. So a bit of a, ideally you just have lots more clamps, but we haven't got lots more clamps, so we have to flick around a bit and chop and change. But we've got all the bales from second cut, so it's a good chance for us to get all those fed whilst we've got no access to our first and third cut clamp. So anyway, fingers crossed, that'll be happening Thursday or maybe even start of Monday, depending on weather next week. And we'll, yeah, hopefully looking forward to getting the maize cut actually. Yields look good, and hoping the quality is going to be, starch and energy should be much better this year because we had a lot of sunshine. So that should be, hopefully, good crop ahead. So thanks for watching today's video, and we'll see you all soon for the next one.